Right. Mufti, the Jewish Bible mentions in Genesis that Ishmael was the firstborn, not Isaac. Please comment. Hmm. I don't think does the Jewish Bible. I thought the Jewish Bible puts Isaac as the. Okay. I thought Ishaq, it made sense since Ibrahim alayhi salam, is at that stage struggling to conceive. Um, and then there's glad tidings, and his wife conceives. So I assumed that it's through Sarah. No, not assumed. This is my understanding. May I say I'm just being too humble for no reason. Sometimes this humility it doesn't suit me. Right. So this so Sarah has his child Ishaq, and Ismail is through Hajar. Now Hajar is the slave girl, and the slave girl. Well, okay, I suppose unless you're going to argue that they're very simultaneous, because the slave girl is gifted to Ibrahim alayhi salam by the Pharaoh, because he doesn't have the slave girl, and it's when the Pharaoh takes Sarah off him. So Sarah is now then with the Pharaoh, who force or however he kind of marries her, and she spends probably, I don't know, maybe 6 months, whatever it is, half a year, maybe a year, that kind of time she spends with the Pharaoh in his palace. And it's during that time that Ibrahim alayhi salam is, because he's stuck and he's on his own. So she pleads to the Pharaoh that he should be kind of compensated, and he's lonely. And so they give him certain amenities and compensation. And also amongst that is Hajar to kind of keep him company. So this is the kings of old, the royalty of old. They're like, yaar, bored ho gaye ho. You bored. Can bring him that slave girl over there. Yeah, this should help entertain you. That was a different generation of people. Ajkal, today it'd be like, acha acha, you bored? Go for a walk. You're like, acha acha acha. Only walked from the Canaan region all the way to Egypt, but take So, um, yeah, so I mean, and then when the Pharaoh realizes, he breaks it off with Sarah, and Sarah goes back with Ibrahim alayhi salam towards the east, and it's there that she gives birth to the child. So I assume that I'm still going with that is the first child, unless Hajar during her stay with, unless they're both simultaneously pregnant. That's the only other scenario I can assume that could make it work. But that's my understanding. Yeah. And that by the way is what Ahmed the Egyptologist Ahmed Osman. I'm trying to really get hold of him. I don't know how to get hold of this guy. I mean, he's a senior elderly um, researcher, Egyptologist, and he's in the UK, but I just don't know. He's not on any social media. I got hold of some Facebook pages. I messaged them. I can't find an email for him. He's not on Twitter. He's not on Instagram. He's not on. I don't know how do you get hold of these people? I'm trying to get hold of him for an episode of Mind Trap, because he has a theory that's very like, whoa, it puts everything on its head, and the figures and the chronological order is different, and everything is just he places he kind of hints, I don't know whether he clearly says it, but he also hints that he clearly says that the reason Ibrahim alayhi salam does all the circumcision and these things is because of the Egyptian practice of circumcision, which, to be fair, is very believable then, because the Egyptians are amongst the oldest civilization known to practice circumcision. They also have a matrilineal thing which the Jews then inherit. So he feels that that's inherited because of them. I think he's hinting towards. He's not. I think. I know he is hinting towards. Okay. He may even be clearly saying it in some interviews he's more clear, in some he's a bit vague, saying that Ishaq is really kind of like the stepson of Ibrahim alayhi salam. And he's arguing that Ishaq is actually the child of the Pharaoh and the child of Sarah. And hence he's arguing that this is why in the Bible they taunt Ibrahim alayhi salam for the child not looking like him. I'm not sure exactly what verses he's referring to, but I've got to kind of read all of that. But then he has a huge follow-up of Moses is Akhenaten and the Pharaoh and this whole thing of Joseph, Yusuf is Yuya, and this whole thing. It's some of it is on its head, by the way, as in the figures are moved around chronologically. So he's arguing that that Pharaoh that Abraham meets is the prophet Dawood, and it's really like, what? But it's at the same time, it's like, what? And then he's giving all these explanations for it. And he's saying, look, it's Tutmosis is Dawood, and he's kind of showing all these arguments, and his argument is that because Ishaq is then the child of Dawood, this is why the Jewish tradition, they always have David in that position. Not just because he was a king, because his point is that the Jewish people, in many ways, respect David almost more than they do Moses. And it doesn't seem to make sense because David was just a king in the Jewish Bible. He's not. He's a prophet, but he's not like Moses, who rescues the Israelites and the first person to preach worldwide about monotheism. And they say Ibrahim alayhi salam spoke of monotheism, but he didn't. There's discussions on whether he went around condemning other cultures or not. But Moses clearly is. So this is his argument. It's very, it's like, whoa, but it's intriguing. So I want to really get hold of him and have a podcast discussion with him. I'm reading through his book, Moses and Akhenaten. But yeah, cool.